Hello, hello. Welcome back in. A long time no see. It's obviously a joke. I was live about 6 hours ago. But we're back at it. Tennessee, Kentucky. Tennessee absolutely running away with this game. About 2 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. 56-34. And Star Thomas taking it around the outside, gets it to the 15-yard line before he's tackled out of bounds. Clock will remain running up until we get to this not 2-point conversion, but what do they call it in college? 2-minute timeout, I think, because they can't call it a 2-minute warning. Let's make sure, doing a sound check real quick. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Welcome in. So, a lot going on right now. I haven't really looked into much of the slate other than the games that I've watched and highlights that I've seen. So, I'm about to pull up what we're looking at with college football today. As we're working our way through the ending of this Tennessee-Kentucky game. Tennessee basically came out and did what we were all asking them to do. Came out and offensively have dominated this game, but defensively hasn't really looked that great. I know we're up by, 56-34, 22 points, but not really what I wanted to see defensively, as we have struggled in more ways than one. Taking a look at the scores today, Virginia squeaked out a win in overtime over North Carolina 17-16. South Florida was up 31-17 against Memphis before they let up 17 unanswered points, and Memphis comes back to win by 3, 34-31. It is their second comeback win of 14 or more points this season. Let me go ahead and take this down. No need for that to stay up there for right now. Everything else looks good back there, so let's let it eat. Ole Miss with a rather impressive win today over Oklahoma, 34-26. Number 8 Ole Miss at number 13 Oklahoma. I was really wanting Oklahoma to win this game just to set up a bigger matchup. Hopefully a top 10 Oklahoma team coming into Neyland Stadium next week. They're rated as one of the best, maybe the best defense in the nation, although they've only played up to this point, up until today. The best offense that they played was Michigan, who's ranked 70 in the country in total offense. And then they go up against Ole Miss at home today. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, we all know that they're very good offensively. Hang 31 on the nation's quote-unquote best defense. 34-26 win for Ole Miss. It was pretty back and forth throughout the game. I know Oklahoma was ahead by, I think, 12. 10-3 Ole Miss after the first quarter, then a 12-7 second quarter. That would have made the score 22-10. And then Oklahoma came out and outscored Ole Miss 16-3 in the third quarter. So that would have been 26-25. So they stormed back in that third before Ole Miss scored 9 unanswered in the fourth, 34-26. Trinidad Chambliss looked pretty decent. Did throw for 315 yards, although he was 24 of 44 on the day, so not great completion percentage. 1 touchdown through the air. Kewan Lacey, 27 carries, 78 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Ole Miss on the ground. I need to remember that there is a game going on right now. 2-minute warning, 2nd and 3 for Tennessee coming out of the 2-minute timeout, Fake the handoff, little bubble screen out to the outside. That's Braylon Staley getting the first down and sliding down in bounds to keep that clock moving after they reset the sticks. Another score today, Indiana over UCLA. Ew. Indiana absolutely dominated 56-6 over the Bruins team that looked pretty good over the last couple of weeks. Picked up a couple good wins. Obviously the Penn State win. Then I think they defeated Northwestern after that. And I can't remember who they played last week. I know I've got it written down somewhere. Let's see if I can find that real quick. I could probably just click the button a couple of times and find it, but I know I've got it written down somewhere. The only thing is I've got a lot of stuff written down. Yeah, oh well. I don't have it written down. Clock is ticking, a minute to go in this one. Ball set up for second down. They beat Northwestern, then Penn State, then Michigan State, and Maryland. So UCLA was on a oh no, they lost to Northwestern, I'm sorry. And then beat Penn State, beat Michigan State, and Maryland. So 3 games in a row until they went up to Indiana and lost by 50 burger on the Bruins. Tennessee's taking a knee, just running the clock down. That'll be it. 56-34 win. So what does that tell us, chat? Honestly, I don't know. We did what we were supposed to do. We were favored 9.5 on the road. Initially looking at it, I thought that was a little bit too many points. Line moved down to 8.5 for Tennessee. And we came out looking strong before the defense just seemingly let up every big play that Kentucky tried to go for. So let's see if I can pull up the box score real quick. Joey Aguilar, 20 of 26 on the night, 396 yards, 3 touchdowns in the air. Star Thomas, 10 carries, 64 yards on the ground. Let's see. Peyton Lewis also had a touchdown on the ground. Deshaun Bishop, 14 carries, 48 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Chris Brazzell, 4 catches, 138 yards on 4 catches, a 34.5-yard average per catch, and 1 touchdown. Mike Matthews, 6 catches, 107 yards, 17.8 yards per catch, and a touchdown as well. Braylon Staley, 6 catches, 105 yards. So Joey Aguilar, he's definitely got his trio down. He's got his weapons that he likes to target. The 3 main guys. They're the trio with the most consistent trio in the nation as far as starts together, playing time together. They're the 3 in the main rotation for Tennessee. Ethan Davis also with a touchdown from the tight end spot, 2 catches, 23 yards, and Rodarius Jackson, 1 catch for 19 yards. I'm going to have to try to see if I can find when the last time Tennessee had 3 receivers with 100 yards in the same game. When was the last? All right. Let's see if AI can cook that up for us. The last time the Tennessee Volunteers had 3 receivers with 100 yards in the same game was on November 24th, 2019 against Missouri. That game saw Vol for Life, Jawan Jennings, Marquez Callaway, and Josh Palmer each surpass the 100-yard mark, which was a historic first for the program. So the second time in program history that 3 wide receivers accounted for 100 yards each. So Indiana looks legit with a lot of tease. I would say I don't think it's a tease. Indiana does look legit this year. I was thinking it was kind of a tease last year. Nico pick 6, second play of the game. Hate to see it. I was really hoping UCLA would throw a wrench into the things. Yeah. Well, I mean, they kind of did, though. They kind of already did that with the Penn State win. Drew Aller out for the year. Was that in the UCLA game? Because they lost again after that. But regardless, Tennessee came out looking good tonight. Let's see. Defense. The defense, the front 7 looks good. All right, let's see how many rushing yards Kentucky had today. 146, not too bad. 346 passing yards to a true freshman just cannot happen. Another game where Tennessee lets up almost 500 yards of total offense to the opponents. Tennessee, 23 first downs to 25 from Kentucky. But, I mean, a lot of our drives were one big play, and then we score a touchdown. Third down efficiency, 4 of 8 for Tennessee. I think we started 0-4 throughout the game, so that's nice to see it get back to 500. 5 of 12 for Kentucky on third down, one for 1 on fourth down for both teams. Total plays, Tennessee only had 59 total plays. Time of possession, 23 minutes, 57 seconds to Kentucky's 36 minutes and 3 seconds. I don't remember. I think it was the second quarter when Kentucky sustained a drive that ran off 8 minutes of game time. And after that drive, they scored a touchdown. Tennessee came back out on the field, and one of the commentators said Tennessee had not been on the field offensively for 28 minutes, so almost 30 minutes where they were just sitting on the sideline as the defense just let up first down after first down. But offense looked good. The first touchdown of the game came, and I initially said that now that looks like Tennessee. Now that looks like Tennessee. Let's see if I can find the breakdown of the game to remember exactly what happened. But where's that at? Very unprepared today. I just kind of hopped on. So scoring plays, first quarter. Joey Aguilar passed to Chris Brazzell for 35 yards for a touchdown. And it was, I think, a post route where he just threw a bomb, and Chris Brazzell was right there. Joey Aguilar looked really good, really accurate today. And they said time and time again that they were mentioning the last couple years with Nico and Joe Milton. And we're saying things like you didn't see this over the last couple of years. These long balls that went, you take your shot for Tennessee. We like to run. We like to pound it up the middle and just kind of set up something big on the outside. And over the last couple of years, we saw so many overthrows. You think to Nico, I mean, how many? I can't even count how many overthrows he had. Joe Milton, one of the best arms in all of football. As far as power goes, velocity, and he wasn't very accurate down the field. Joey Aguilar is doing a lot better for Tennessee really throughout the whole season, but really showed tonight. Oh, no. Teron said he took the under. Oh, what a bad game to take the under. The over hit in the first half. There were 50-something points in the first half. It was 35-21, make it 56 points total in the first half. Bad game to take the under. Bad game. Oh, boy. So that set up Kentucky to get the ball. And initially, it looked like – I can't remember exactly how their drive started, but it was Idris Farouk. I knew his last name. I couldn't remember his first name. Idris Farouk came off the edge on a blitz and knocked the ball up in the air. The blitz was heavy, and Boley, Kentucky's quarterback, Cutter Boley, was trying to hit the running back in the flat. Ball got knocked up in the air, and by Farouk. Farouk caught his own tip and took it back for a touchdown. Tennessee went up 14-0. Early in the first, but Kentucky was able to put a drive together. Well, not really. 71 yards for a touchdown. Boley passed to Law. I wish they showed the full name. Kendrick Law, Cutter Boley. So I'm gonna try to remember that. Kendrick Law was a dog for Kentucky, and he had a double pass later in the game, but it was a double pass. It went out to Law. And then he just chucked it to the tight end, who was wide open. It should have been a touchdown. But he overthrew it by a mile, as he is not a quarterback. And one of the commentators said that that's what will happen when a wide receiver bench presses 400 pounds. My jaw dropped. 400 pounds. I can't imagine. Star Thomas, a 1-yard touchdown run late in the first quarter to make it 21-7. That was after Tennessee came back out and got held out. I think it was a 3-and-out. Might have picked up a first down, but it was a pretty quick drive. Excuse me. And then we did the same to Kentucky. Got the ball back. 5 plays, 72 yards, 2 minutes off the clock, 1-yard touchdown run for Star Thomas, making the score 21-7. And when I think of Tennessee's offense, Tennessee's explosive offense, obviously people go back to the Hendon Hooker year with Jalen Hyatt. We're scoring aplenty. 52 hung on Alabama at home. But really, I think about the year before. We played South Carolina at home, and I'm thinking it was 28-0. Maybe we scored 35 points in the first quarter of that game back in 2021, Josh Heupel's first year. And then right after, that was the first time we've ever seen anything like that. After Jeremy Pruitt, Butch Jones, Derek Dooley, all the way back to Phil Fulmer, he never did that unless, they were playing some small school maybe. And Josh Heupel was doing it with a team that in the offseason, after Jeremy Pruitt left, it was the COVID year, 3-7 on the year. Half the team left, and Josh Heupel took over. And midway through the season, he started hanging 50 on fools, 50 every not every week, but most weeks, and it was just opening up like a new type of offense that the SEC wasn't really used to seeing. And then we did the same thing to Missouri that year. Possibly Kentucky, too. I can't remember exactly. But that's what set up a great year the next year with Hendon Hooker and company. But tonight reminded me a lot of how Tennessee's offense is supposed to look over the last few years that we've seen under Josh Heupel, who does move to 43-17 overall as Tennessee's head coach. On into the second quarter, 4 plays, 6 yards, 1:15 off the clock as Deshaun Bishop with a 1-yard touchdown. And then right after that, 3 plays, 75-yard drive, another big play led up by our secondary. Cutter Boley passed to DJ Miller for 56 yards, 3 plays, 75 yards, easy drive for Kentucky. They didn't put together a whole lot of great drives. That made it 28-14, but they did right before the half put together a 16-play, 96-yard drive that took up 8 minutes, 35 seconds off the clock. And with 1:37 to go in the second quarter, Boley found J.J. Hester in the back of the end zone. He's lucky that receiver caught the ball. He was slightly covered coming across the very back of the end zone, breaking away from the defender, but he had the tight end wide open in the end zone. And if the receiver were not to have caught that, he would have been beating himself up over not giving the tight end the ball wide open. And I mean, how? How does that happen? There was nobody on that side of the field. No cornerback, no linebacker, no nothing. Tight end wide open. So we'll get to another instance later on where, again, that side of the field was just completely open. That made the score 28-21. And I'm sitting there like, dang, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe we're hanging points on Kentucky and they're still in this game going into halftime. 28-21. We did spend our second timeout on that drive when Kentucky was towards the goal line. And then Joey Aguilar comes out on the field. Josh Heupel does his thing. Start off with a run up the middle, got 4 or 5, maybe 6 yards on the run, and then that led to a 10-play, 75-yard drive, 1:32 off the clock. Keep in mind, we got the ball with 1:37 seconds to go. And Joey Aguilar passed to Ethan Davis, 13-yard touchdown pass, making it 35-21. Still held on to our last timeout, didn't even have to use it. So that was a great example of how you manage the clock at the end of a half or the game. And something that I've seen with Tennessee and really Green Bay this season as well, where they just don't really do that very well. So it was great to see that. Just a really nice drive. Joey Aguilar made some really good throws, and throughout the whole game, but especially that drive. Thanks for joining, everybody, by the way. We got Jacob, we got Griffin, we got Tehran, we got Amber in the chat. Appreciate it, guys. Then we start off into the second half. Kentucky got the ball first. They stalled. And then Tennessee put together a 2-play, 70-yard, I don't even want to call that a drive. On the second play, it was a 62-yard touchdown pass to Mike Matthews, 42-21. And then this is where we really started. Like I said, it was 28-21. Looked like, minute 37 left. Maybe we can get a field goal, go to halftime up 10. We score a touchdown. We go up by 14, and then hold Kentucky, go up by 21, 42-21. And then we get the ball back after another great defensive stand on that next drive from Kentucky. We get the ball back, 5 plays, 63 yards, just drive after drive. We were hitting big plays, and it was awesome to see. That was capped off with a 2-yard touchdown run by Peyton Lewis. 49-21 was the score. Later on in the third quarter, towards the end of the third quarter, Kentucky put together a really good drive. 10 plays, 75 yards, 4 minutes, 52 seconds off the clock. Bowley found DJ Miller again, 28 yards for a touchdown. That 2-point conversion was failed. Okay. And I'm thinking it was this drive. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was the next drive or next touchdown that they had. But what I'm thinking of is 4th and 1. Kentucky's going for it in the red zone, about to score if they picked up the first down. They line up like they're about to do a quarterback sneak, send a receiver in motion, do a little jet sweep handoff. Okay. Now, this is another instance where, of course, the defense was lined up ready to stop the quarterback sneak, but that's not what they did. They did the jet sweep, and there was nobody setting the edge on the end over there. And luckily for Tennessee, we did get the stop, but I think they still did end up with a touchdown. I think it's on that next touchdown drive that they had. But in the fourth quarter, towards the beginning of the fourth, Deshaun Bishop capped off a 6-play, 75-yard drive, 2 minutes, 19 seconds off the clock. 5-yard touchdown for Bishop, making the score 56-27 at that point. And game was over. I just wanted to see us break, 70 on Kentucky. Really don't like Kentucky. But, it is what it is. 56, I'll live with it. 56-27 was the score at that point. And then Kentucky puts together an 11-play, 75-yard drive. 5 minutes, 23 seconds off the clock. Bowley found J.J. Hester 7 yards for a touchdown. And I think that was the drive where they went for it on 4th down. 4th and 1, ran the sweep, and nobody set the edge. So it could have been in the first half. I really don't know when that was, but I remember it, and I hated it. So I'm convinced the only way we can win playoff games this year is if we end up playing a Big 12 team with no defense, because every game left feels like it's going to be a shootout with this defense. That's a great point, Griff. It's a great point. I have no arguments with that. None at all. But let's go ahead and break into the rest of the college football slate. Tennessee overall picks up the 56-34 win in Lexington. I said on the podcast this week, my $1 Million Radio song pick of the week was Soul Food by Logic on the album Under Pressure. The reason I said that, just lost to Alabama. We got to win out to make the playoffs. We're feeling maybe not feeling the pressure, but we're under pressure for sure. But we got a great opportunity to go play a team that we own. My whole lifetime, Kentucky's beat us. I could probably count on one hand the amount of times that they beat us. And I've been reminded time and time again, I'm getting old. I'm 27. So only a few times, very few times have I seen Tennessee lose to Kentucky. And the reason I picked that song Soul Food was because the script was lined up. Okay. We were under pressure. We have a great opportunity to win out, but it starts with Kentucky. And if we can come out and own Kentucky like we always do, we got a great shot to set ourselves up for success. We got Oklahoma next week. Then after that, we got a bye week, got homecoming against New Mexico State. I'm planning to go to that game. And then at Florida, at home against Vanderbilt. So Tennessee and Vandy are on a literal collision course for the college football playoffs. Facts. He said it, not me. I don't know what I said. Jackson Arnold got benched. All right, let's get into it. Georgia Tech. So the scores I mentioned earlier, first of all, Virginia over UNC, 17-16 in overtime. South Florida loses a heartbreaker to Memphis, 34-31. Memphis was down 31-17 going into the fourth quarter. South Florida had a chance for, I think, a 52-yard game-tying field goal, and missed it. They missed it. Let up 17 unanswered points. Yeah, I think I will see you there, actually, at that game. Ole Miss over Oklahoma, 34-26. Indiana over UCLA, 56-6. Those were the scores that I mentioned earlier. Auburn is cheeks. Arkansas choked. Let's see. Let's see what happened. Georgia Tech over Syracuse, 41-16. Georgia Tech, man, 8-0. Number 7, they're going to maybe continue to move up. I'm not sure if any people ranked ahead of them lost, but we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I was just kind of paying attention to a couple games today, looking at the scores right now. Alabama over South Carolina, man, and the Tide survived. Alabama led 7-3 after 14-6 at halftime. South Carolina came out and scored 9 unanswered in the third quarter. That made the score, what is that? 14-14, I guess. And then I think South Carolina scored 7. No, that's 15. They were up 15-14 going into the fourth quarter. South Carolina was. And I think they scored a touchdown again, making it 22-14 before Alabama scored touchdown, 2-point conversion, and another touchdown to survive 29-22 in Columbia, South Carolina. I felt like on the pod this week I said the line was 13.5, Alabama on the road as the favorites. And the reason Alabama won so convincingly in Tuscaloosa over Tennessee last week was because Tennessee beat themselves. I truly felt that. And I didn't think South Carolina was going to necessarily cause the same problems that Tennessee caused themselves last week. And South Carolina had a great opportunity to knock off number 4 Alabama this week. Couldn't get it done. Ty Simpson, 24 of 43, 253 yards, 2 touchdowns. Lenore Sellers, 18 of 32, 222 through the air, a touchdown and an interception. He also led the team in rushing, 18 carries, 67 yards, and a touchdown. Jam Miller, 10 carries, 26 yards. And that was pretty much all that happened offensively for Alabama. Let's see. Georgia Tech is about to be 11-0 going into the Georgia game. Woo! Another 8 overtime game, you think? I hate it for USF. Yeah. Alex Golish is hate to see it. But USF did their thing this year. Definitely. They still got an opportunity to hopefully make a case for the playoffs. I think that's 2 losses for USF. Navy is the best group of 5 team. We'll have to see. I don't see anybody else up there. Maybe Louisville. Louisville's pretty good. Virginia is, I think do they have 1 loss or are they undefeated? Let's see. Virginia has 1 loss. They're 7-1. Louisville, I think, has 1 loss. They're 6-1 with a big win at Miami last week. Yeah. Louisville's not a group of 5, though. They're ACC. I'm sorry. Oops. That Alabama game with South Carolina fumbling, it felt like a Destiny-type play. Hey. I mean, if it's going to happen, if Destiny's going to happen to anybody, it's going to be Ty Simpson. I'm telling you that right now. Illinois falls to Washington today. Oh, my goodness. 42-25. The Fighting Illini, man, I think they were in the top 10 at one point. Just got absolutely routed by Indiana a few weeks ago. And now a big-time loss to unranked Washington. Number 11, BYU survives Iowa State. That game was tied 27-27, and then BYU punted it to Iowa State. The returner ran away from the ball. He was like calling hot fire, whatever you want to call it, which means get the hell away, get to the sideline, get away from the ball that's about to land. And Iowa State Cyclone player, I guess, didn't hear it. He continued to block somebody and continued to block. And the guy was just driving him towards the ball. And the whole time, then he steps on the ball. BYU jumps on it, and they scored 2 unanswered touchdowns to win 41-27 over Iowa. Nah, Navy has the easiest schedule. Maybe so. Do with what you're given, my friend. That's a good point. Wise words. Missouri and Vanderbilt. That's where game day was today. Let's get into it. That's a game that I did watch. And boy, it was a snooze fest. That's what I was doing. I actually did fall asleep for a minute while that game was on. The score was 3-3 at halftime. Yeah. Vanderbilt scores a touchdown in the third quarter. Missouri ties it in the fourth. Vanderbilt with a touchdown in the fourth quarter to win 17-10. Missouri, keep in mind, I can't remember his name. Let's see. Bo Pribula. Bo Pribula. He's there coming into the season. He was Missouri's second-ranked backup quarterback, basically, second on the depth chart. And their starting quarterback goes out in, I think it was like the first or second play of the season. Season-ending injury. Pribula steps up, has led Missouri to pretty good season. Only loss was to Alabama a couple weeks ago. 6-2 now on the year after a loss to Vanderbilt. But it was fourth and goal from the 1 maybe, and they decided to go for it. Quarterback keeper up the middle, and Pribula gets his ankle snapped. That's what it looked like. Definitely bent backwards, definitely bent sideways, whatever you want to call it. Pribula, and it really wasn't a good look for the Vanderbilt defensive lineman that did that. He wrapped up his ankle. He was already on the ground. The defender was. Grabbed his ankle, made sure he wasn't going anywhere, and then kind of started rolling as Pribula was getting pushed back and folded on top of himself. And then it looked like he was cranking that ankle. It really looked like the defender was cranking that ankle. And he gets put in an air cast. They cart him off the field and then put him in a wheelchair going into the tunnel. Not a good look for Missouri at the time because they obviously didn't get the fourth down conversion. They do end up getting the ball back after that, but Matt Zollers comes in for Missouri, 14 of 23 in the second half, 138 yards and a touchdown for the third-string quarterback coming into the season. But he did his job trying to keep Missouri in the game, trying to come back and win. Scores their first and only touchdown to tie the game at 10, and then Diego Pavia puts together a drive with Vanderbilt, another team that might be destiny driven. I'm going to be honest. Vanderbilt is looking pretty good. So moving on, we got number 21 Cincinnati over Baylor 41-20. Texas Tech with a 42-0 win over Oklahoma State after losing last week to Arizona State. Texas Tech bounces back with a big win. Oklahoma State is terrible, so not saying much. Then we get to number 22, Texas at Mississippi State. Man. He cranked that ankle like Dolph Ziggler to Alberto Del Rio when Dolph cashed in the Money in the Bank contract on Raw to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Did that because it was all caps at that point in the message. That is what it looked like. Definitely. 45-38 win for Texas over Mississippi State. Now, let's get into it. 7-7 after one. Mississippi State puts together a hell of a second quarter, 17-7 in the second quarter, making the score 24-14 going into half. Mississippi State up by 10. Mississippi State comes out in the second half, scores another touchdown in the third quarter, making the score 31-14. Mississippi State at home up 31-14. Blake Shapen, 26 of 42, 381 yards, 4 touchdowns. Texas scores 24 in the fourth quarter to tie it up after Mississippi State also scores a touchdown. Game tied up at 38, goes into overtime. Texas, back-to-back weeks, overtime games. They score a touchdown in overtime. They win 45-38. Damn it, Mississippi State. You had them on the ropes, and you let them off the hook. We had them where we wanted them, and we let them off the hook. If you know, you know. Yep, Texas with a decent win, I guess. Comeback win for sure. Oregon over Wisconsin 21-7. That line was I can't remember can't remember what that line was. It was a lot. It was absolutely a lot. Miami 42-7 over Stanford. It was tied at 7. It was tied at 7 going into half. Stanford came out with an early touchdown, 7-0. Miami struggling offensively, just struggling. Carson Beck, 21-28, 189 yards, 1 touchdown. Ew. Mark Fletcher Jr., 23 carries, 106 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tied 7-7 at the half. Miami scores 35 unanswered in the second half. 42-7 win for Miami, who didn't look like they were going to be close to covering that 20-something point spread today. But they did just that with a really good second half. 42-7 for Miami. So they were obviously number 2 before they lost to Louisville last week on a Friday night. Just a weird game. Carson Beck throws 4 interceptions. Didn't look great, but let's get into it. Is that a pickup line? Has it worked? Yes. Yes, it has. Malachi Toney is a dog. Let's see who Malachi Toney is. We're going to player stats. Malachi Toney. He's got 1 catch for 13 yards. What am I missing? Oh, wait, that's 1 rush for 13 yards. Malachi Toney receiving 5 catches, 52 yards. Okay. All right. All right. I like it. That's decent. That's decent. Oh, also, scroll down a little bit further. 2 punt returns, 73 yards. No, that's nice. Freshman wide receiver, that's nice. I'll take that. Malachi Toney's a dog. Texas A&M. All right. This is a game that I didn't necessarily watch, but I had my eyes on. Texas A&M going into Death Valley. LSU, number 3 team in the nation, undefeated, 7-0. Going into Baton Rouge. They lead 14-7 after 1, but LSU puts together an 11-point quarter in the second to make the score 18-14. LSU going into half. I was like, ooh. That line was it 6.5? Let's see. We had that line at, it was -2.5 for Texas A&M going into Death Valley at LSU. Night game for LSU. We all know that's a tough place to play no matter what time of day it is, but especially at night. They seem to play most of their games at night. So the score was 18-14 going into halftime. Texas A&M comes out with 21 unanswered points in the third quarter. That makes the score 35-18, and then a 14-7 advantage in the fourth quarter, bringing the final score 49-25. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been flirting with this for the last few weeks. Is Texas A&M them? Is they really them? Yes. Yes. Who's worse, Tua or Beck? You already know. Beck easily. Oof. God, I don't want to talk about it. Just wait till Tua gets traded. I hate to say it, but he'll pull a Baker. Ooh. Okay, Griff, I see where you're so you don't think Tua is all that bad, huh? You think he's in a bad situation, bad spot. Is that what you think? I don't think Tua has the mental capacity to know what being a good football player is. All right. Hey, we're being nice. We're being nice tonight, okay? I don't want none of that. No, it's pretty funny. I don't mind that. Yeah, I also said on the pod this week. No, I said this in the Public Fades episode. There are no words to describe Tua Tagovailoa. There aren't. So I'll stand by that. So a big win from Texas A&M. I really think they are a national title contender. Oh, I don't know if I want to say that, but Marcel Reed has looked fantastic. He did throw 2 interceptions today, 12 of 21, 202 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also led the team in rushing, though, 13 carries, 108 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I don't want to put him in that Lamar Jackson tier when it comes to, just college football. Lamar with Louisville. We all have seen the highlights. We remember those days. But Marcel Reed, he is that guy. So Michigan over Michigan State, 31-20. Who cares about that game at all? Louisville over Boston College, 38-24. So another nice win for Louisville. Boston College isn't really a good team this year. So yeah, we'll see what Louisville can do the rest of the season. Houston over Arizona State. So Arizona State picked up a big win over, who was it? Texas Tech last week. They jump into the top 25 only to lose to Houston this week. At home, Arizona State was at home. 24-16 loss to Houston. And then, of course, Tennessee with a 56-34 win over Kentucky. We went through that game to maximum capacity. I feel like we'll definitely get into that again. We'll be recording at Dead End Barbecue this week, episode 46 of $1 Million Radio. So stay tuned. Me, Jacob, Griff, everybody will get together. I guess just us will get together and go over this past week and review or preview for next week, week 10 of college football. I can't believe it. We got 5 weeks left of the college football regular season. Most teams still have a bye week, so Tennessee has 4 games remaining. It's just sad. So let's see. What did I miss in the chat? Dang, y'all was going off for a second. Bad coach is what I think, talking about Tua and in Miami. LSU is so bad. I'm a Fins fan, born and raised. I'm allowed to talk facts. Okay. CTE, says Jacob. Brian Kelly is getting canned tomorrow or Monday. I'm calling it, says Griff. His buyout is insane, though. Penn State and Florida both pulled the trigger. LSU isn't going to give up a chance to get Lane. That's a good point. Everybody thinks Lane is on the move. Either Florida, maybe LSU. I even said that this past week, but we'll see. We'll see what we can get going whenever the season ends. Obviously, 2 schools like Florida and LSU got a bigger pool. As far as recruiting goes, they got bigger program traditions. Ole Miss has never won a national championship, to my knowledge. Definitely not in this millennia. But, yeah, we'll just have to see. That'll be one of the main talking points once we get into the offseason for sure. Where will Lane end up? What lane is he going to take in his decision-making process? So here we go. We're going to take a little look at week 10 of the college football season real quick. What games are we going to be looking forward to the most? Vanderbilt at Texas. This is going to be a big one. Kickoff noon o'clock on Saturday. Number 10 Vanderbilt at number 22 Texas. These rankings will probably change tomorrow for the most part. We also got at noon Penn State at Ohio State. This was going to be a banger, and I know bangers. This was going to be a banger, but it's not anymore. Let's see what the lines are. Hold on. I can probably look these up already. I'm going to say Ohio State minus 16.5. Ohio State at home against Penn State. It might be more than that. Let's see. Do we have a kickoff? Oh, wow, I was close. Minus 17.5, Ohio State. Do we have a kickoff time for Tennessee next week? It's going to be at night, right? I think it is. It's listed as noon here on FanDuel, but they don't have most of the lines up just yet. So yeah. Vanderbilt at Texas. Vanderbilt has to win. I hope Vanderbilt wins. I really do. They had a great chance to beat Texas last year at home. Now they're on the road in Austin, Texas, so we'll see. Penn State at Ohio State. That was going to be a banger. Not anymore. Rutgers at Illinois. Who cares? Georgia Tech at NC State. Georgia Tech's going to, let's look at their schedule real quick. They're still undefeated. Let's see. They've got NC State, Boston College, Pitt. So, yes, Jacob, I agree with you. They will be 11-0 going into that game against Georgia. Looks like Georgia Tech is the home team. I know they played in Athens last year. I think I heard something about them playing at like maybe Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Maybe not. Might be kind of a neutral site in Georgia. Hopefully they play in Atlanta at their own stadium, though. That'll be cool to see. Number 21, Cincinnati at Utah next week. 13, Oklahoma at Tennessee. Number 12, Notre Dame at Boston College. Number 16, Virginia at California. Texas Tech at Kansas State. South Carolina at Ole Miss. Arizona State at Iowa State. Miami at SMU. That's gonna be an interesting one. That will be an interesting one. This will be the first Saturday of November. Congratulations. We have flown through this college football season. We also have games like number 5, Georgia and Florida taking on each other in the world's biggest cocktail party, right? Isn't that what it's called? Number 19, Louisville at Virginia Tech. Number 2, Indiana at Maryland. And then Purdue at Michigan. So not a whole lot going on next week. We got Georgia, Florida, Miami, SMU, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, and Texas. Ohio State, Penn State, but who cares about that one? Where's game day going to be? I guess Georgia, Florida, Jacksonville. That'll be interesting to see. Game day's gone to damn near every week as a SEC game. And I have no problem with it, but I can kind of see why people don't like it. So, Utah up on Colorado 40-0 right now in the first half. That game is over. So, is Colorado? I mean, I don't know. Colorado, jeez. So there was something I was going to talk about. I can't remember exactly what it was. Back in Dead End Barbecue is the best. Yes, they are. Vandy easily gets the win. Easily. Penn State could do the funniest thing ever. That would be very funny. You know, if Ohio State loses, they'll still have a great spot in the playoffs. Cupcake-ass schedule. Yep. They don't have to play Indiana. They'll play Michigan. I guess that's at Michigan this year, and then probably play Indiana in the Big Ten championship. Yes, I'm speechless. It's kind of what happens when you go live for 3 hours earlier in the day, and now it's past midnight. I got work in the morning, and here I am back at it again, baby. Let's get it. I'm having fun. So, NFL football. Tomorrow, I am planning on going live tomorrow night towards the end of the Green Bay-Pittsburgh game. Christian Watson, C-Dub, number 9. He's coming back. He'll probably be limited, but he's coming back against A-Rod and the Steelers. NFL schedule tomorrow, looking at the slate. Also, go check out Public Phase before you put in your slips. Don't get pulled into the trap that is the public here on all our sports books. We got 3 plays. We got taking New York Jets with the points. We're taking see, this is the problem I have. My mind goes blank. New York Jets with the points against Cincinnati. And then we got the Dolphins with the points against the Falcons. And then we got the Saints with the points against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So is that still 4.5? Oh, it's moved to 3.5 actually. So yeah, I'm glad we got it at 4.5 on the show. Tomorrow, Bills at Panthers, -7.5 for Buffalo. Cincinnati at home against New York, who has not named a starting quarterback yet for this week. -6.5 for Joe Flacco and the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Flacco just gets around the AFC North. He just gets around, all right? His old team, the Baltimore Ravens, -2.5 point favorites against the Bears. That line opened up at 6.5 this week. It was said that Lamar was good to go, or, trending in that direction with his hamstring injury. He missed the last 2 games and then a bye week last week for Baltimore. So I guess he's going to need another week. They're looking, somebody's investigating, somebody's looking probing into why he was ruled out yesterday. So that line moved from -6.5 to -2.5 for Baltimore. I would take the Bears with the points. Not an official play, but I don't see how Baltimore, after we saw how they looked against other teams, the Texans and the Rams without Lamar. Maybe, Cooper Rush is just getting more work, getting more practice in, and it's going to come out, lead him to a win tomorrow. But the Bears are hot right now, and I don't see that stopping. So, against Cooper Rush, Bears defense is really good. Browns at the Patriots, -7 for New England at home. 74% of the money on New England. That's almost a fade right there. And I honestly might take the Browns in that one. I kind of like that matchup. -2.5, Houston Texans at home against the San Francisco 49ers. Another game. Give me the points. +2.5 with San Francisco. Dolphins at Falcons. You got the play on public fades this week. -7 for the Falcons. That was 7.5 a couple days ago. Eagles will host the Giants. Giants just beat the Eagles a couple weeks ago. They're facing off again, and this time in Philly. And somebody told Jackson Dart that if he didn't think he had haters, he's about to find out where they live in the link. So we'll see about that one. All these games kicking off at 1 o'clock up until the Buccaneers play at New Orleans at 4 o'clock tomorrow. -3.5. That was 4.5 for Tampa Bay, but moved a point in their favor as far as the spread goes. Colts at home against the Titans, -14.5. 82% of the money's on the Colts. That was going to be a public fade, but Colts are too good. Titans are too bad. I'm staying away. So I don't trust the Titans one bit. Broncos -3.5 at home against Dallas. That's going to be a pretty good game. I'm excited for that one. 77% of the money is on Dallas +3.5. And then Sunday Night Football, Packers at the Steelers, -3 for Green Bay on the road. The OG versus the young gun. The Jedi versus the Padawan. Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers. Acrisure Stadium. The script is in. Jordan Love needs to win this game. Aaron Rodgers doesn't need to win it. Aaron Rodgers, he's Aaron Rodgers. First ballot Hall of Famer. He loves Jordan Love. They had a great relationship, although he was pissed that they drafted Jordan Love. They had a great relationship in their time together for 4 years, 3 years, something like that. He didn't do to Jordan Love what Brett Favre did to Aaron. Aaron is not washed. Packed by a mill. He's not washed, though. He's not washed. So, yeah. That's going to be a movie. I'm excited. I'm going to watch it. And towards the end of the game, sometime in the fourth quarter, I plan to go live, do a little recap for NFL football tomorrow. We also got Monday Night Football, Commanders at the Chiefs. Chiefs -11.5. So I guess Jaden Daniels still out for the Commanders. 79% of the money's on Kansas City. That seems like too many points. That seems like too many points and too many people on those points for Kansas City. So we'll stay tuned for that. Doubt it will end up being a public fade, but, plus 11.5 Commanders, So we'll see if they can keep that game close. They were minus 11.5 or minus 12.5 against the Raiders last week and won 31-0. So what do I know? But not all the money was on the Chiefs like it is now. So, or most of the money. But I think I'm gonna get off here. So Tennessee, big win today. Got an even bigger game next week at home against Oklahoma. $1 Million Radio episode 46. Powered by Dead End Barbecue this week. Going to be coming out on Wednesday. Again, Public Fades comes out every Friday at 6. So stay tuned with that. And NFL football tomorrow. Planning to be live tonight. Thanks for everybody who watched the UFC stream today during the middle of the day on a college football Saturday. But hey, I was off of work today. I was here in my home watching football. No, I wasn't. I was watching UFC. What am I talking about? But what I was getting at is, how often am I, one, off on a Saturday all day? Two, UFC's going on this same Saturday. 3, Tennessee plays at 7:45. Super late night game. Here we are after midnight, still talking about it. But you would normally think that if Tennessee played at night, there was a UFC event going on, it'll be happening at the same time. But hey, UFC was in Abu Dhabi today. The prelim started at, I think, 9:30 or 10 o'clock this morning. Main card started at 2 o'clock. That's perfect. I went live for 3 hours. 3 hours waiting on the Tom Aspinall-Ciryl Gane fight just to end 30 seconds into the 30 seconds remaining in the first round due to a no contest eye poke. I was pissed. But hey, that's MMA, baby. Sometimes you get poked in the eye. I mean, now, and people were talking about, hey, why didn't Tom just power through it? Tom should have powered through it. He's the heavyweight champion, undisputed. See these knuckles right here? From here up, both fingers were in both eyes of Tom Aspinall. I mean, come on. Dana White in the post-fight press conference said Tom chose to not finish the fight. And when you word things like that, I don't understand what he's talking about. Tom could not do that, so he could not fight. He couldn't see. And initially, I get the reaction. Why is he saying he can't see? He's just kind of getting out of the fight. Ciryl Gane looked pretty good. He already had Tom bleeding from his nose. And then the close-up replay was shown where you saw 2 knuckles deep in both of his eyes. It was the worst eye poke I've ever seen. And he's lucky if there's no actual damage done to those corneas. But so went live for 3 hours today, UFC 321. If you missed that, go back and watch it. That'll be cool. Always remember, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how we're feeling. Chat was going off tonight. Let's make sure I get it. So, Aaron is washed was the last one I saw. Ashwagandha Rogers, what is it? Ayahuasca is what he does. What is ashwagandha? Commanders public fades. Griff getting a little too German. I couldn't remember how to spell it, bro. It's ayahuasca, I think is what you're looking for, Griff. Isn't that an herb or for relaxation? I think that's what ashwagandha is. Ashwagandha. Looking like Skylar talking about the Ravens. 2 o'clock? That's a good one. Yeah, went live at 2 o'clock. Face palm and the dead skull emojis. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to log off here. College football week 9 is in the books. Tennessee with a big win, 56-34 today. UFC 321 earlier. NFL football tomorrow. Looking to go live again tomorrow night, probably around 10 o'clock or so as we wrap up NFL week 8. Go check out Public Fades before you make your plays tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram at MD Minds, same name as the channel down below. And as always, hold on, let me get ready. Watch this fade out. Hold on. And as always, remember, and as always, we'll see you next time.